All right, here we are, Halloween 2024, just getting started. A little late for most people, but just right enough time for me because most of my stuff is in the dark. You can't see it, so I don't really go into crazy detail. It's mostly the building, and because I'm not a professional, I don't have to be open till first or second week of October. So here it is. This is something I built last year. This is a very cool spidery kind of mechanism that worked on wires and a wiper motor. But it's a very cool mechanism, and it's probably better suited to like a spider or like a giant hand or something of that nature. I had it in the ceiling lifting tentacles, which was a cool effect, but I could do it with a much easier mechanism than this, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make take a wiper motor and basically have it making a reciprocating motion over the length of a hallway, and it'll just kind of, shake them back and forth. It really doesn't need to be this kind of random motion. You really couldn't tell it was random, especially in the dark, and some of them will be stationary, so just the movement will make it seem random. I'll pick up this video in a second when I have that together. Alright, so I pulled that old guy apart. There's the pieces over there. And it's basically just a wiper motor mounted with some L brackets to a piece of fence picket. And to connect to the wiper motor, I'm actually going to use one of these guys. It's for a table or chair leg that happens to match the threads on the wiper motor. Makes it a lot easier for me. I'm going to attach this guy, and it's important to remember to measure the length that you want it to reciprocate, and you double it, because it'll be this far over here and then it'll pull the same length back the other way. I had to learn that the hard way. You think that would be intuitive, but it's not sometimes. So just remember that if you have a length that you want the motion to be, cut that in half for the stroke length. Okay, so I figured out I need this to be approximately 15 inches, so it is 17.5 inches from this point to this point. I'm going to put a hole here, and then that is going to rotate and move these two approximately 16 foot, and at the end of it, it's going to open old Audrey 3. I got an Audrey 2 hiding someplace, and this opens about 15 inches, so I'm going to want to open that at the end. I'm probably going to bungee that up so it's not so heavy at the end of this, and I could shave these down a little bit to save weight, but they're 1/2 inch, and they'll be sliding back and forth, so it shouldn't be too much work on that motor. I mean, that motor could lift me if it had to. So this is going to be, it's going to move back and forth. This first pole will move kind of back and forth. It won't really be reciprocating until this second pole. Don't ask me how that works, but yeah, that'll be, this one over here will be back and forth. There'll be a hinge kind of in the middle there, holding them together, pivot. Okay, so I have the 3 pieces together here. It is a 7.5 inch diameter, so that will mean 15 inches at the end, and the 15 inches will lift up Audrey 3. That's about as wide as Audrey 3 opens, and that lights up, and that'll be up in the rafters. This whole thing will be up in the rafters, and it will have tentacles and things connected to it, so they'll move in a hallway that I'm making. Yeah, and then they're connected with these guys. It's a clevis pin and a what do you call it? That's not a hitch pin. What is that? Well, in any case, these two guys are holding together. I have used screws in the past, just double nut and with stop nuts and stop washers, and putting little glue on, and something always goes wrong. I mean, 90% of them are fine, but then the one that falls apart is what gets you. So I just use these guys now. There's never a problem. They're a little more expensive than screws, but the time it'll save you later is priceless. All right, so I'm gonna plug this guy in now. All right, and here it is. Let's see if I get the whole length going here. Alrighty, move back. It wants to rotate, but that'll be screwed up into the above there. And yeah, this took me about a half hour, all said and done. And the decorating and installing will probably take me about 2 hours. And meanwhile, that other one that was complicated took me days and days. But that was mostly just figuring it out. Now that I have it figured out, I probably build it a lot quicker. But it didn't need to be that complicated, you know? Maybe for something else it would need to be that complicated, like a spider or a hand or fingers or something of that nature. But the tentacles in the rafter in the dark, this is more than enough.